established at the beginning. So just an expectation, we are like TR students, so we're going to continue as TR students with that mindset. So we're thinking about TR advocacy in the future as well as now as we're students. So just be mindful of each other, professional, and no talking over each other, okay? Okay, first question.
Right, so how can TR practitioners advocate their field to the interdisciplinary team? Like, how would you explain that the programs as TR, the programs that you're running are not just for fun or time pass, but it actually has some meaning to it?
Go for it.
I think it all boils down to just providing evidence. I feel like everyone like in your team respects that that you have like facts and there's a basis behind like the interventions that you're providing. So I would say evidence-based practice.
Yeah, that's very important.
I'd say it's much more impactful if you hear it from like the residents or like your clients themselves. Like you get a one-on-one, see how much of improvement your life has been. Like as like maybe like also like their caretakers, like seeing like how far they've come. I feel like they'll get them on board with the whole idea of TR.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Are we going to the next question? Okay.
Okay. How can we as TR professionals educate the public about the importance of our field to gain more support and recognition?
So this is for the public, all that stuff.
So like to help, like why do you think so many people don't know what TR is?
I think really just because like the profession in and of itself like isn't really, it's still evolving, and so there's not a lot of information out there, or like it's not necessarily a very well-known profession, and a lot of people discover this profession or the like TR in general rather than already know it. It's kind of just like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lack of advocacy, and I feel like especially in different healthcare settings, the first thing that people would jump to as a solution could be OT, PT, where they don't realize that RT could be, you know, included as one of those priorities instead of like, oh, well, there's this alternative. So I think if there's a little bit more advocacy put in public spaces as a priority intervention in different like vulnerable populations, that it could give a little bit more awareness to what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
I think we could also advocate in the younger population as well, like especially in the education system. I feel like that's very beneficial, because I feel like, I mean, with any kind of program or anything that you do, you're gonna tell your friends, you're gonna tell your parents, you're gonna like spread the word either unconsciously or consciously. And I feel like that'd be a great start, because that's a good basis for people to grow on, especially kids. And I know that we talked about that a lot.
Okay, last one, and then we're moving on.
I just think that maybe if we promote it and run programs in other like more public spaces, I feel like right now it's just kind of like in clinics, long-term care, hospitals, like very specific settings. And I think if we expand more and provide in other spaces, then more like the general public would get to learn about it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Hi everyone. So my question for you all today is, it's regarding technology and therapeutic recreation. How should emerging technologies like virtual reality, gaming, can be integrated into therapeutic recreation programs? Hi Kate.
So I actually, at the home that I work at, we do virtual reality therapy, and we actually have a program where I work with seniors. I work at a long-term care home, so we take the VR set and we'll like put a nice scene on, or we'll like hook it up to something to do with traveling, where they can travel somewhere, or something that calms them. And it actually, we see a big difference with our seniors, especially because a lot of them do experience, like they do have dementia and everything. So it is, in a sense, easier for them to adapt to like what they are seeing through the virtual reality, which is then able to calm them down. A lot of seniors with dementia like tend to have hallucinations and everything, so it also kind of allows them to get away from that as well.
Yeah, and I also want to touch base. It's like they feel like a lot of loneliness. They may be separated from family, so it gives them like an opportunity to just experience the world outside of the hospital or outside of that setting. And also I wanted to ask, what are the potential drawbacks? Because although there are many benefits, what may be some drawbacks? Morgan?
I think that with technology, especially in some senior settings, like I know a lot of people express a lot of frustration with it because they don't understand the technology or how to adapt to it, or like I know with family members that were a little bit older, they don't want to, they don't feel a need to, they don't think that technology is like for them beneficial, and they prefer to do things like what they would say like the old-fashioned way. So I think with technology, like although it gives a lot of really good benefits, I think you have to also remember that some people just have specific preferences and how they want to learn things, and technology just might not be that. So it's important to have options from just technology based, but like books, different things that you can facilitate the same like learning in that way.
Absolutely, like a learning curve and technical issues. So I'm gonna end it off, and I'm gonna pass it to my friend Isaiah.
How can we as TR professionals address the misconceptions about our field and demonstrate the unique impact that TR has on improving quality of life across different populations?
I think overall it just comes down to TR advocacy in general, like just making sure that we are advocating for what TR is all about, what we actually do, rather than just like the fun, playful people who do games and activities. You know, like we're more than that. We have certain benefits. We do documentation. We do much more behind the scenes. And I feel like the more that we're able to show people that, then the more that we're able to get them to understand the importance of it.
I mean, along with like the evidence-based practices and the research that we do, I think it'd be really helpful to bring in like testimonials from clients who've already taken part in some form of recreational therapy. That way people can hear from like other members of society, not just from like a professional aspect, but like someone that they might be able to relate to in a better sense.
I feel like spreading the word about TR and just advocating for it, and education, like helping people realize that there's a profession that's called TR and that it will help people improve their well-being.
Moving on. Okay.
How is leadership related to TR advocacy?
Say it again.
How is leadership related to TR advocacy?
The TR what?
How is leadership related to TR advocacy?
Oh, okay.
Okay, Joan?
Aldo? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, like, when you advocate for a profession, like, it's helpful so people will realize that there's such thing, like health in terms of recreation and leisure.
Well, with leadership, it comes to a lot of initiative, and also like you have to be like someone that people can look up to. So I'd say that in order to like spread the word of TR, like first you need initiative, and secondly you need to like be a person that can exemplify what TR is. Like otherwise, if you're not exactly following what TR like doing what TR expects of you, you're not really advocating for the program.
True. I would say like as a role, as you're in the role of a TR, there's a lot of things that you have to facilitate, and there's a lot of things, even though you may have like a TR team, you're still having to step into leadership roles all the time, whether it be talking with families, whether it be facilitating your group, whether it be like taking on a new program, or like coming up with ideas, figuring out how to support the other like professions within your workplace as well, because it is a team effort. So like that also ties into the leadership aspect of TR.
Now moving on to me. So how can EDI, equity, diversity, and inclusion be used when advocating for TR? Think on it.
I think the biggest thing that people don't realize about TRs is we work with all populations. Like, you know, an OT might work with specifically a lot of seniors or people with physical disabilities. A PT is obviously going to be all physical, but I think people forget that with TR, you can be a support for anybody and for any needs or goals that they have. So I think it's big that when we're advocating for TR, we express that we can help all populations. Like, there was a case study we did last year. I think it was Yvonne's class, and it was, you know, someone had just immigrated here and they don't speak the language. How would a TR help to facilitate to get them involved? I think that's a big part of like representing EDI, that we can work with a lot of populations to help them feel their best selves and achieve well-being in whatever their goals are.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's very, very broad of like what we can do, and so being able to do it and incorporate EDI and like all be inclusive and also have this is very, very important to TR as a whole. Yeah.
Oh, they said my answer. I can't. Morgan stole it. Sorry.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Shall we move on then?
Alright, so my question is, how can advocating for TR right now benefit future clients? So just some prompts are like what kind of challenges could clients face if a TR program doesn't receive enough support, or like how can advocacy open up more opportunities for clients in the future? We'll go, Shannon.
I feel like part of TR advocacy does have to touch on the topic of financial availability and accessibility. I feel like the more that we advocate it and the more that we spread the word about it, the more people will be able to fund it, especially when you get to provincial and government spaces. And that I think will align with like future clients and being able to actually give them and facilitate programs that will be able to be repeated, be able to give accessibility to all people, especially depending on the populations you are servicing. There needs to be equipment that needs to be had, environments, support staff, and that unfortunately all results into financial availability. So I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna add to Shannon's point, like accessibility is a big like part of, sorry, I forgot. A big part of it being more inclusive, diversity, and equity. And I feel like just being able to make recreation more accessible for everyone, and like letting them know that they can participate in recreation and it will help their like mental health and overall health.
Yeah.
I'd also say like I think advocating just for like implementing leisure in like daily routines is important, because a lot of people just think of leisure as free time or like something to do after work. It's not really, you know, something that is valuable to quality of life.
I was going to just add on quickly, just to Shannon's point too, that like with the whole like TR advocacy and the funding and everything, I feel like that's where it ties into why strength-based is so important too, like the strength-based practice, evidence-based practice, like making sure that we have documentation, making sure that we're explaining like and showing why it is beneficial, how it is beneficial, because there are a lot of people that, you know, you could be like, oh yeah, this thing is beneficial, and they're like, okay, where's the evidence? Like, show me the proof, and then we will be able to fund you. A lot of that is like the government needs a lot of evidence in order for them to be like, okay, yeah, like we will give you that funding and support. We'll be moving on now.
Okay, so that's me. My original question actually had to do with like financial constraints, but then I changed it today to a more broader question on internal accountability and keeping our peers accountable. So my question is, how can we as TR professionals keep ourselves and our peers accountable in regards to ethics and the reflexive process and thinking to ensure that our behaviors are in line with client-centered programming?
Excellent.
I think one, documenting, and two, just continuing to further educate ourselves on TR and different populations, just all of it. Even after we graduate, just keep going and educate yourself.
I think we can also take accountability in the sense of we are also people. Yes, we're the people that are facilitating these programs for others to help others, but it's okay to advocate for ourselves and when we need help, when we need to take a step back, or when we just acknowledge when maybe you realize that you're getting too close to something, that your ethics are in the wrong spot, and then vocalizing that and reaching out for help. Instead of bottling it up and not dealing with it, because that's overall going to affect your clients. We can't help others if we can't help ourselves. So I think a big thing would be taking responsibility for ourselves as well.
I think communication also is key. If you're working among your peers or teammates or whatever, there should be meetings, documenting all of those things. They work in tandem with each other, and obviously holding yourself accountable, reflexivity, you're always educating yourself. And just like she said, if you feel like you're kind of toggling the line with ethics, then it'd be nice if your peers could also call you out, but in a gentle way, obviously, in team meetings and just communication.
And my question is, why is advocacy critical to the growth of the TR professionals? Anyone have any idea?
I think advocacy is the biggest and most important way that we can let people know that our profession is just as valuable and provides just as much benefits as any other more specialized profession. But I think as well, I forget who touched on the point over here, but it makes sense for this as well, that if you want to receive funding or support at a little bit of more of a governmental level, then advocacy and giving that almost proof, but showing that the field and the people who are a part of it are passionate about it, and that we make a really big difference in clients' lives is a big way that we can then therefore grow our population, and especially the centers, the hospitals, the clinics, or public recreation centers that we hold it, we get more equipment to support people's needs, and then therefore can reach out to more populations that need support. So I think it's the biggest way to make it grow is spreading the word of what we do.
To touch upon that as well, I think advocacy is a big part, and also recognizing that we are our own profession as well. Yes, we work as a team and we work with others, but we are as valuable individually as well. We have our programs are unique, what we do is unique, and that's not a bad thing to touch upon. And I feel like that's a big part of advocacy, is letting people know that we are TRs, we're not OTs, we're not physical therapists, we're not mental health professionals. Yes, we work with those professions, but we are also our own profession.
Definitely. So we do have two other people who aren't here. Should I just read out the questions?
Yeah,
okay.
We can read them out.
So Tess was actually talking about insurance plans. So how can we advocate for our services to be included in insurance plans was the question. And then there's
I feel like that goes back to the advocacy or the surrounding funding and evidence-based programs, and evidence in general is just proving to, I don't know who it is, that we should be under the topic of mental health and medical care, and that we do service the similar to the same things, and that people do need financial support with that.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then Okay, yeah, so like by utilizing data and case studies and showing and presenting that evidence-based practice and stuff, like that is very important and crucial in getting the insurance companies and like the people who are actually in charge of all that stuff to go, yep, that's valid. We need to actually like take notes and like include you and all that stuff. So having that evidence is very true and important. And then so, should I do some mirrors as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So mirrors is what are some challenges / obstacles that TR professionals face in advocating their services? So just some challenges in advocacy.
I think the one that we talk about in Amanda's class all the time is that like we come in and we play bingo or we just play games and then like we've joked about that before, but I think that's the biggest thing is like people not taking you seriously. Another challenge is people not knowing what the field is and what it does, and like I think the first thing they say is that, oh, you work in long-term care homes. No, not only, like we can do so much more. So I think people's perceptions of what it is the biggest challenge, and then maybe even a personal one is if you're not someone who's a little bit more like outgoing or confrontational, being able to correct that narrative and like encourage that to change going forward too.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay.
A personal challenge is when I try to explain what I'm doing, they don't know, and so and it's such a broad career and like who we help. So it's hard to explain it sometimes because it's so broad.
I definitely agree. I've had like all those circumstances where I'm like, how do I explain this, that this is actually a health care practice and it's not just, no, we're not doing fun things, that's not it. Shannon and then Kimmy?
Just to echo what Shay said as well, I feel like when I'm talking to people, they've never actually experienced what a facilitated program is and what it actually does and the benefits of it. And so like I feel like I have to explain even more in depth what just a program is, let alone what the actual career is. And yeah, and I think that just comes back to like the lack of leisure and recreation education in TR in general.
Yeah, definitely.
I think a challenge would be like also advocating like to your clients what you're doing. Like sometimes like there's like what Margaret said, oh, you're just the bingo, like, you know, you're just the exercise lady. Like, no, I'm a lot more than that. You just don't see it because you don't come to programs. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you don't see the behind the scenes processes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think. Oh.
Yeah. I would like to add with the person.
7. That's Camry.
That's okay.
Oh, I forgot.
That's all right. I forget all the time too.
It's all good.
Yeah, I think as that like we need to like telling them like what we are learning as like we are doing as an anatomy as well. Like we are seeing the human body and also like correcting them with their positions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like giving them more information, not only like playing games or like quality of like enhancing quality of life is not at all. Like telling them we are doing some more.
Excellent, Eva.
Yeah,
good.
Like not doing the only thing with that. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kind of just to follow. Sorry, now I'm blanking on your sorry. I think it's like really important that we take pride in the fact that we are a form of therapy. We are therapists. Yeah. We are learning the science, the knowledge, and everything, like just like other, health science-related programs. We're in the School of Health Science, so it's really important that we show up and like bring that sense of importance to our role because we are helping people. We're handling human beings, either mentally, physically, emotionally, like cognitively. Like it's so critical that we keep that in mind because like you're taking care of someone's life. Like
Yes.
you might not be like in depth like a doctor or a nurse, but you're still a critical part of their health care.
Yeah. It's very much their quality of life and their like social, emotional, cognitive, like all of that stuff. But it's not like the medical stuff, but it goes far deeper.
Yeah, just to add on top of that as well too, like a lot of the senior population, we've noticed that, and I've tried to explain this to like some of my new coworkers too when they're coming into work with the senior population. They're like, oh, I've never been in this before. For some reason, like XYZ, like they don't want to come and join the games that I'm facilitating or like join this. And I'm like, we have to also understand that back then as well, it wasn't a priority. Like doing fun things was seen as childish. It wasn't a priority. You had to work, you had to raise children, you had to get stuff done. And so it's really hard for them to accept that it's okay to do that and that it's actually beneficial. And so like in order to do that, you have to explain to them, no, this helps different areas, and like this is why we're doing that, you know.
Excellent. Let me say something to that.
Okay.
So we just wanted to say thank you everyone for your contributions, and I think we did really well.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Very knowledgeable. Like,
It was
all of the stuff that you guys were saying. It's like, yes, this is great.
It's good to like give each member also like leadership, and like you know, just encouraging them too as well to give their opinions and such. So thank you everyone again, and yeah, on to the next group.